I know there are a lot of misconceptions about purchasing a home, and in this week's video, I'm going to be giving you 6 myths to purchasing a home in Sonoma County. What's up, guys? My name is Danny. I'm Cronin. I'm a real estate agent right here in Sonoma County, and if this is your very first time to my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I drop a video once a week, every single week, all having to do with living in Sonoma County. And of course, I am a full-time real estate agent. And if you have any questions at all, you're thinking about buying, selling, investing today, tomorrow, 5 years from now, whatever the case is, I would love the opportunity to help you. All of my contact information is down below. Call me, text me, email me, whatever is most convenient for you. And with all that being said, let's get into this week's video. The very first myth I hear all the time, and I completely understand why, and that is, I'm gonna wait until I find the perfect home until I start the pre-approval process. Now, this is doing a disservice to yourself for a couple of different reasons. Number one is it can take you a little bit to get pre-approved. Every single lender is a little bit different and their timelines all vary, but for the most part, if you find a home you like, you go to get pre-approved. By the time you're actually pre-approved and have all your documentation into that lender, that home can already be under contract with someone else. Number two is, why waste your time going to view these homes if you can't even write an offer on them anyway? So it is always encouraged, especially by myself, you have to get pre-approved before you even start looking at houses. It's very essential. The second myth to home buying here in Sonoma County is, I'm gonna wait to reach out to Danny until I'm actually ready to purchase a home. This is a problem. All of a sudden things happen so fast. You're in a time restraint. We have to get you into a house quick. And it takes a little bit of time to do these things, right? We've talked about pre-approval. You know, finding you the house can take a little bit depending on inventories. If we're low, if we're high, whatever the case is, these things take time, and it's always encouraged to reach out super early. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I don't care if you're thinking about buying tomorrow, 5, 10, 15 years in the future, it really doesn't matter to me. The best thing you can do is establish that relationship with your agent early, come up with a game plan so when it's time to execute, everything is already there. The third myth I hear all the time is, I have to pay list price for this house. And that's wrong. See, what I always tell all of my buyers is, do not determine list price as the value. Let's look at the data to determine the value of that home. What I do with all of my buyers is I make sure before we write an offer, we run some comps in the neighborhood to make sure they are not overpaying. Obviously, holding your appraisal contingency is gonna help you with this as well. But sometimes the list price is not the sale price. So something to consider, don't look at houses and say, you know, this house is listed at $800,000, I have to get it at $750,000 for it to be a deal. What if that house was actually listed at $800,000, we ran the comps, looked at the market data, did all of our homework, and that house was actually worth $825,000 compared to all the other comps in the neighborhood? Are you overpaying for that house now? The fourth myth I hear all the time is renting is cheaper. Now, as you guys I'm sure are aware of right now, we are experiencing high inflation, and this is caused for several different factors. But one thing I'm seeing in the market, especially last year when rates were low, a lot of investors were purchasing properties and then they were turning around and they were putting renters in to help pay the mortgage and do some cash flow. Now with inflation going up so crazy high, they have raised those rents. And now there's a lot of competition in the rental market because, as I'm sure you also know, last year there was low inventory for sale and a ton of buyers looking. So when people got tired of getting their offer outbid and competing and doing all of these crazy things that buyers had to do last year to get into a home, those people turn into renters. So now what we're seeing is this crazy rental market. We're seeing rents as high as I've ever seen. So renting in most cases is not cheaper than buying. Number 5, I can get pre-approved with any lender even if I'm coming from another state. Wrong. Technically, it's right, but local agents want to work with local lenders for a number of different reasons. It's important to work with a local lender here because we have different processes. Obviously, if we're working with another lender at a state, depending on the time zones, maybe they're not up when we're up. Maybe we're not up when they're up, right? So these things can definitely cause issues throughout a transaction. When you're in escrow in a home that you're purchasing, everything is time sensitive, meaning if your lender asks something from you, maybe you have to give them another document to finish the final approval process. And if you don't get that into them in time, then we could be in trouble and your earnest money deposit can be at risk. So it's very important to work with local lenders. I work with one here locally myself. She's actually housed with 5th Street Financial inside W Real Estate, which is my brokerage. So if you're needing a lender, reach out. Number 6, I'm gonna have multiple real estate agents look for a home. Whoever brings me the best home gets the commission. Wrong. We as real estate agents, we work commission basis only. And my whole thing is if we start the process together, you don't like what I'm doing, you don't like what I have to say, you don't like my responses, whatever the case is, you can walk away, you can go pick another agent you can work with. But working with multiple at once isn't really the right way to do business if you're asking me, but of course, do whatever feels necessary to you. Just make sure you're transparent with whatever real estate agent you are talking with at the time. And that is gonna wrap up this week's video, guys. I kept it brief, but I hope this gave you tons of information, a couple of misconceptions that I've hopefully solved for you. If you guys wanna reach out, if you want any more information about this, please visit my website, fill out the contact form below. Let's get in touch. I wanna help you with whatever your plan is moving to the beautiful Sonoma County. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.